I bought the cheapest street legal motorcycle I could find on Amazon, and today I'm going to tell you how it comes to you, what you get with the motorcycle, what you have to do in preparation to ride it, and why I'm now regretting having bought this motorcycle. Now, I'm simply going to tell you my opinion and also my experience with this whole process from start to end, so that way you have a better idea. Is this something that is actually feasible or even worth it to do in your case? Now, I want to hear from you guys. Have you ever bought a really cheap motorcycle? How did that experience go for you? I'm sure you guys have some pretty awesome and interesting stories to share there. And of course, I want to hear if you have any experience with this motorcycle specifically as well. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, you may be thinking, what's the brand of this motorcycle? I honestly don't know. There's Boom on the box. There's HHH on Amazon's website. At the end of the day, it's a Chinese-made sport bike. We have a single-cylinder carbureted four-stroke engine here. This thing weighs like 230 pounds, 240 pounds. It's really not a lot. Now that's probably dry weight, so you may be looking at 260 after all your fluids in there, but it's really not a ton of weight. It's actually a super light motorcycle. Now, the way it comes to you is in a crate, so essentially when you buy it, they make sure you have a phone number and all that kind of stuff to schedule the delivery. It actually came super quick. I got it in like 3 days from the time I ordered it to the time it showed up. Pretty simple process. The guy unloaded it in my driveway, no problems at all there. Comes in a metal crate, take it apart, pull your motorcycle off, and now we're good to go. Now, anytime you buy a cheap motorcycle, you're taking a risk, whether it's new like this one or a used bike. But if you know about motorcycles and you know what to look for, you can mitigate a lot of those risks. But there is such a thing as a cheap motorcycle that's built really well that you can trust almost 100% and you have the chance of winning. That is my 2020 Iron 883. I'm giving this thing away to one of y'all, and this thing is not coming to you stock. We've already partnered up with Reinhardt, Custom Dynamics, Saddlemen, and some others to make sure that this motorcycle comes to you, whoever wins it, in the best possible condition with some of the best accessories that can go on one of these Sportsters. Now, our giveaways are different. We work with a small veteran-owned business, and the reason we do that, first of all, we like supporting veterans, and also they keep the pool of entry small by keeping the time frame short. So you only have from now until December 13th at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time, it gets cut off. So that's it. And again, that in return keeps the pool of entry small, most of the time under 500 entries. Our first giveaway winner, all the way out in Wyoming, his first motorcycle ever actually, which is pretty freaking cool. And that pool of entries was less than 500 as well. So you have a real shot of winning something awesome. Now, the giveaway process is super easy. I have one link in the description of this video. Click the link, that'll take you to Headshot Nation. For 49 bucks, you sign up to get entered to win, plus you get access to the community. So this essentially will give you early access, ad-free, exclusive videos. We're always adding things to it, but it's also the community aspect. If you want to talk to other community members, start your own post, start a conversation with me, request ad-free videos over there as well. There's a whole lot of things you can do. It's actually a really awesome community, and it's the only motorcycle and gun community that are combined on the entire internet. So again, December 13th, 2024 at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time, it gets cut off. So if you want to win, or a chance to win, the 2020 Iron 883, if you want to support myself and a small veteran-owned business, all with one $49 entry, this is the best way to do it. And plus, the perks you get on Headshot Nation are freaking awesome. Can't wait to give this motorcycle away to one of y'all. Good luck to every single one of you. Now, the pre-installation, the things you need to do to get this thing running. I've seen examples from other creators where they had to put wheels on, hooking up the brake calipers and all that kind of stuff. My bike pretty much came pre-assembled. All I had to do really was cut the tape off, remove the plastic, and put the mirrors on. Now, of course, you want to go through and make sure that everything is tightened up. You never want to take this stuff for granted. When you go and buy a new motorcycle from a dealership, they've already PDI'd it. They made sure everything was good. If you're going to be doing this yourself, you really got to make sure and go through. And they don't recommend that, of course. They recommend taking it to a certified tech. So I had my certified tech buddy come to me to make sure that this thing is right. So going through, making sure everything's torqued down properly, obviously, and all that kind of stuff. Going to be super crucial. But all in all, it came with some break-in oil, no gas, of course, and the battery was disconnected. So all in all, came with everything you need. Now, they will send you a title, and you basically email that title or a picture of that VIN number back to them so they can then send your bill of sale and all the paperwork you need to get it registered. So all in all, the process sounds pretty good. Now, when I unveiled this bike, I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know what? This thing doesn't look bad. It's obviously cheaper plastic. Now, I deal with a lot of Harleys and Indians, right? And they have plastics on them, but it's not even the same. I mean, you can obviously tell that this was a cheap, but still a decent looking motorcycle. You can just tell that the parts are cheap. Now, you also have things like the forks, right? They are very, very loose, right? So you don't have a very good rebound. I imagine this thing is going to probably be pretty rough on the road, right? I don't know. That's just a guess here, but you'll kind of see why I'm saying I think it will be here in just a minute. But overall, the body lines, the overall aesthetic of the motorcycle, honest to God, it looks good. It comes with LEDs all the way around. It even has racing stickers, and when you take those things off, it adds at least 10 horsepower per side. So it's pretty incredible. Now, it's got a center stand, and it's got, of course, a kickstand. When you put that kickstand down, if you end up getting one of these motorcycles, just know that she's going to lean with it. It's got a strong lean to it. All right, so that is something that you want to consider. It's got kind of got a smoked black screen on it. I mean, just overall, the bike, the wheels, even the rotors, it looks pretty good. When we were going through it, obviously we had to hook up the battery. This is where our first problems started to arise. So, obviously I take off the seat. It's a locking seat too, by the way. So I take off the seat, we take off the side panel, hook up the battery, try to get some juice to it. So, of course, we got a key, standard key. We got no juice coming to the thing. Oh, she's ready. So, all right, it's a dead battery. Now, one of the things I noticed that is on the website, they mention it is a 2024. It's got an upgraded CDI chip, and it's got the high performance carburetor, whatever the hell that means. For this type of bike, I know what it means, but you know what I'm saying. So that's what they mention. They say it's a 2024. Well, the bike I got is a 2022. Does that make a difference in what I got? I don't know, but obviously that battery and that bike were sitting there for probably 2 years before I ended up getting it. Now, I made no real big deal about this. It's actually something I kind of just realized, honestly, as I was looking over some of the specs of the motorcycle. I'm like, oh, it's a 2024, and they got me a 2022. Okay, whatever. So the battery, it probably has a dead cell, but I just took one out of one of my other bikes, and we put it in there, and we were able to get some juice to it. Perfect. Now, by the way, I did try using my jump starter that I keep on my Road Glide. We just could not get this thing to jump. So now we're questioning whether it's getting spark or not, but none of the gauges are lighting up. So I know this has to be battery related. So again, we pull one out, we put a new one back in there. Well, we finally get some juice, right? We see, okay, we got lights, everything looks pretty good there. Now it's time to gas her up. So I put some gas into it. We put, I don't know, I think I started out off with like maybe a half of a gallon or maybe a gallon. I mean, this thing just sucked it all, right? All the lines, it just started sucking it all up. So I'm like, all right, let's go get some more gas. So we did, and we put, another gallon in there. So we got plenty of gas in there now. Well, I go to start this thing, and it sounds really rough. Now, carburetors aren't something I'm used to dealing with. I'm not going to sit on here and tell you guys, oh yeah, I'm some kind of crazy good motorcycle mechanic. I'm more of a parts changer, right? I need things to work, and assuming they work, I can change the parts out, right? Pretty efficiently, but that's all I am, right? Some of you guys would call my hands soft because I work really hard to make sure videos get out to you. So I'm working on a computer and dealing with cameras and riding more than I'm ever doing any kind of wrenching. So anyways, that's my area of expertise, if you will. So anyways, we're dealing with a carburetor. And by the way, my certified tech friend, he's certified on GM vehicles, not on motorcycles. So I don't want you to think, oh, you brought a certified tech over. So anyways, we're looking at this thing, we're trying to get it started. Well, you have two petcocks, right? You have one that's going to the carburetor, to the fuel filter, and all of that. The other one is going to the PCV. Okay, so we're getting air and fuel. We have fuel. We're getting power. It's not turning over. Well, there's a choke right there on the left-hand side. Duh, right? Anybody that's ever dealt with anything carbureted knows this, right? Now, that's just me not paying enough attention. And it's actually in a pretty good spot. It's not like you got to reach under there and pull a choke out like on an old school motorcycle or old school lawnmower or something like that. So click that over, she starts up. Now here's one problem we constantly found, and that is that it was leaking fuel from the overflow. So I put a little bucket under there to catch that fuel and reuse it because, hey, it's fresh fuel. I don't want to drop it like that. I don't want it just leaking in my driveway either, to be honest with you. But it just keeps leaking fuel. I'm like, okay, maybe we flooded it because we did try starting it, I don't know, a lot. And we just could not get this thing started. But lo and behold, when we started messing with the choke, we got it started. But it's still spitting fuel. So we started looking it up, and it looks like the needle actually is stuck on the inside of the carburetor. So it's not able to read those levels right. It just is allowing fuel to just run right through it, essentially. So I call up the company, or I actually emailed them, and I said, hey, look, this thing is spitting fuel out. The battery was dead. What can we do? Well, the first thing they ask is, did you get a certified tech to look at it? Well, yeah, I did. Actually, I did have a certified tech look at the thing. And I thought they were going to ask for an invoice or ask for this and that. They didn't. They called me the next day. They said, hey, what's the problem? I said, hey, this is what it is, carburetor and a dead battery. Okay, we're gonna send those things out to you. No questions. These things only have a 30-day warranty. So I'm like, dude, we gotta get on the ball with this. I don't wanna be stuck with a motorcycle where I'm having to buy new parts or even rebuild the carb at the end of the day. It's brand new. I don't wanna do that, right? Nobody wants to do that. And so they sent the stuff right out. They got the stuff coming to me for the information, the bill of sale, all that kind of stuff, so I can register as well. Now, that's kind of where the story ends for right now, because I don't know what's going to happen from here. We may put the carb in it and the battery and it work flawlessly. I don't really know at this point. But what I do know is that this thing is going to take a little bit of legwork, right? Depending on the bike you get, where it comes from, how old it is, you may have some of these similar issues. Now, fortunately, the bike was put together. Everything that we've inspected so far, because the biggest thing was getting the thing started. Let's get it started. Then we'll go through and make sure everything else is good. But the wheels were already on and all that kind of stuff. We still got to check torque ratings and specs and all that kind of stuff. As far as what we see, it looks pretty much put together. If you're mechanically inclined to any extent, you could probably do this. Just remember, they will be asking about a certified tech if you have any kind of issues. And you only have 30 days to get this stuff right, or you're going to be coming out of pocket. Now, I had heard and seen from some reviews, verified reviews, where they said, hey, these guys would not take care of me on the 31st day, or they even gave me a hard time within 30 days. That wasn't my experience. Their customer service was actually pretty freaking amazing. They didn't try to give me a hard time about anything. Oh, make sure you send over a certification letter and all that kind of stuff, or even an invoice. They just said, okay, so that's kind of where we stand with it. Overall, the bike, it was $1,200 and $500 to ship. With taxes, we're at $1,800 into this thing. Now, of course, I'll be changing the oil. They recommend changing the oil within a couple of days. This thing has been sitting there since 2022. It's broken down over time. I'm going to have to change the oil quickly, right? They even say within the first, 2 weeks, or I don't think they even put a mileage on it, but they do say to make sure you stay under 25 miles per hour. So that's not uncommon to have some kind of speed cap and or RPM cap for the first 500 miles. Some people say 1,000 miles, right? So I'm going to take it easy, at least for the first 500 miles. 25 miles an hour easy, I don't really know because I haven't been on the thing. I know the weight limit is 225, and your boy, well, after that back surgery thing, let's just say I haven't been working out the way I should be. I plan on getting back on that for sure, but at the end of the day, I'm breaking that 225 a little bit, I think, by probably a pound or so. So with a 240-pound bike, let's just say, and I'm 225 at least, we'll take that 1 pound off. I'm definitely, I don't know how this thing is going to do. I really, honest to God, don't. So that's my experience so far with the cheapest street legal motorcycle I could find on Amazon. Of course, I want to hear from y'all. Have you ever bought a cheap motorcycle? How did that experience go for you? And if you agree or disagree with my opinions here, leave those down below. Now, I did mention you have a chance, probably the best chance you will ever get at winning a 2020 Iron 883. And while I am not a mechanic, I'm really good at changing parts. So I'm gonna make sure that this thing is tricked out for whoever ends up winning it. So click the link in the description for your chance to win that bike. Big thanks to you guys. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.